Aloha Sagittarius, and welcome to your tarot reading for the week of June 8th through the 14th. We're going to dive right in, but before we do, if you would like to get a personal reading with me, you can go to themagicsiren.com. We have a fresh promo code for the month of June, and we're also on Patreon, so check all that information down in the description box below. With that being said, let's get into your tarot reading for this week of June 8th through the 14th. We're going to start with the overall vibe or theme for the week. We will move into any potential obstacles or challenges. Then we'll see how we can overcome those things, and then we'll ask Spirit for any extra messages that they might have for this week. So let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to start with a love oracle and a general oracle to kick off the overall vibe. Let's go ahead and see what we have in terms of love coming in for you this week of June 8th through the 14th for Sagittarius. What do we have in terms of love, emotions, and connections? There is a reconciliation. Someone from your past is returning to your life. Now, reconciliation can come in two different ways, okay? Somebody might be coming back, and this might be an energy of creating a new spark, rekindling a relationship, whether it's a friendship, a romantic partnership, or otherwise, okay? Maybe this person's coming back, and this might be an opportunity for you and this person to have a relationship again. On the flip side, this can also represent somebody coming back and bringing closure, allowing yourself to maybe say, you know what, I'm glad that you're doing well. I'm glad we could talk this out. Now we can really go our separate ways, feeling really confident that the decision that we made was the right decision. So again, we're going to go ahead and clarify and see what direction is this heading in. If maybe it's either one for you, use your discernment this week, but let's see what else can be added about this reconciliation. Is this a reconciliation to rekindle things, or is this something that is bringing in closure in our life? Let's go ahead and see what general oracle is going to be added into this energy. We have writing. You heal, inspire, teach, and entertain with the words that you write. You might be getting a written letter or a text message or an email from this person, okay? So we're just going to throw that out there. Or maybe you are writing a letter to get closure as well for a reconciliation purpose of either closure or restarting a relationship. Now, outside of writing a letter to someone or a text message or an email, this also just represents journaling, writing your feelings, your experiences, and maybe even sharing it in a blog space or poetry or something of that nature, or even if it's just for yourself, okay? Writing and journaling will be beneficial to you this week, especially if you do have things from the past kind of coming to the surface. Writing it out really helps you keep everything organized. It keeps your feelings organized. It also just kind of helps you see things from a bigger picture because you can go back and reread it, okay? Let's go ahead and see what tarot has to add. I am kind of curious to see what tarot cards are going to be added to the messages for you this week, Sagittarius. So let's go ahead and see what's going on for the overall theme. That one popped right out. Did you see that? We have Temperance. Okay, I do think that this reconciliation is going to be more closure than anything, okay? And I know there might be a few of you that got excited when you heard this reconciliation because maybe this has to do with the romantic situation. I'm just going to say that I would take this as closure. I probably would not take this as an opportunity to rekindle a relationship, but again, use your discernment this week. The Temperance card represents this sort of alchemy, okay? This is the alchemist in the tarot deck, so she turns water into wine. You can actually see on the card there, she's pouring water from one cup into another cup, and it's going to turn into wine. So she is the alchemist. Not only is she the alchemist, but that she has these angel wings that represent divine timing, okay? So everything that's happening this week is part of divine timing. You seeing this closure, you getting this closure, you having this moment of things that are coming up from the surface. It's giving you this moment to get your closure. Now, outside of that, the Temperance card represents silver lining or being able to see the silver lining in something. So for some of you, you might just be seeing someone or something of that nature from your past, and it's all making sense on why you didn't end up with that person, or why that friendship ended, or why that situation came to an end, right? Sometimes what ends up happening is we see something or we hear something or there's a conversation with something from our past that we thought we really wanted in our life. And then when that moment happens, all those months or years later, there is that moment of hindsight. Wow, I'm so glad I didn't end up with what I thought I wanted, because look at where I am now, look where they are now. It ended up working out for the better, okay? Let's go ahead and see what potential obstacle or challenge we might have with this, because so far it feels like we're being given that moment of hindsight this week. It's like, okay, hindsight is 2020. It's starting to make sense on why things did not go the way that I wanted them to at that time. Let's go ahead and shuffle that again. Let's get one card here for the potential obstacle or challenge. It was just a couple cards that fell. We just want to get one. Justice in reversal. For some of you, it's going to be difficult to just take it for what it is. It's going to be difficult for you to just take it as closure. You know, justice is being served right now. Allow justice to be served. Just know that if you were on the good side of karmas when it came to this situation, your good karmas are being delivered. And if they did not have very good karma in this situation, their bad karmas are being delivered too, right? When we talk about justice, this is justice being served. This is karmas being delivered, okay? If we see this in the reversal, we don't want to get in the middle of karma and who they're delivering to what, okay? Don't get in the middle of that. It is not your responsibility to deliver the karma of anyone else. And so even if you end up seeing somebody that is from your past or a situation from your past comes back up this week, you don't have to be the one to tell them that you are the one that got away. You don't have to be the one to tell them that they made a mistake. You don't even have to be the one to say that I'm in such a better place now. Look at them, look at me. I would remember your energy. Remember the law of attraction, which takes me back to the Justice card. Justice is the law and order of things. When we talk about the law and order of the spiritual realm, it's the law of attraction, it's the law of assumption. Remember, be very conscious of your energy this week and how you are putting it out into the universe, Sagittarius. Take the closure with grace, because I can guarantee you the person or the situation that is crossing paths with you this week, they see where they went wrong. They see it. Remember, all karmas are being delivered this week, good and bad, all right? So just remember your energy this week. Remember your energy, take it, closure. Hindsight is 2020, okay? You can see the silver lining this week. Maybe write it out if you have some energies and some things that you want to say. This person was a sneaky snake. This person was a sneaky snake in your life. And just be glad that you don't have to deal with it anymore, okay? Let's go ahead and see how we're overcoming the challenge or the obstacle this week. How are we overcoming that energy of just wanting to be like, I told you so? Because I do feel like you want to say, I told you so, all right? Look the other way. That's how we're overcoming the challenge this week of wanting to say, I told you so, or whatever the case is. Just look the other way. You've already chose to walk away from this. The Two of Swords in the upright is like having to make a decision, being at a crossroads. You've already chose to walk away from this once. Don't let it take any of your mental space this week. Take it as a moment of closure and know that divine timing was protecting you from the frustration and the draining and the emptiness and all of that negativity that would have came if you would have continued dealing with that person or that situation. You literally dodged a big one. You dodged a big one. And it's all coming back around this week for you to see that you dodged it. So you know what? I would almost even celebrate this week. I would almost celebrate this week and say, I am so glad I did not end up with what I thought I wanted back then. Because man, justice is really being served right now. And yes, even though you told them so, I told you so, you don't even have to say it because they're living it. You don't even have to say it. Look the other way. That's how you're going to overcome the challenge or the obstacle this week. I'm curious to see what extra messages universe and spirit have for you this week. Because look at this. First of all, you've already taken control of your life by going in the other direction. You've already taken control of your life by making this decision. Whenever this was, it could have been a couple weeks ago, a couple months ago, even a few years ago. You took leadership and authority in your own life by choosing to go in the other direction, to leave this behind, to end things, to leave the job, whatever this is, okay? Outside of that, you have other things in your life now that are so much more solid. The Emperor represents something that's in your life for the long term, whether it's a relationship, a job, a project, a plan, a way of thinking, a lifestyle. These are things that we have in our life solid. What you have in your life now is more solid than whatever this was times 10. And remember that. I think there's also this intuitive message that I do need to tell all of you Sagittarius as this is happening this week, okay? I want you to remember as time goes on, a lot of the times we tend as humans, we tend to forget about the negative memories and the negative moments before the good ones. So what happens is the more time that we have separated from an environment, a job, a relationship, a situation, the longer that we are separated from that after we've left, we tend to only really remember the good moments, the happy energy, because those were the energies that were fulfilling our cups, or we got those hits of dopamine from it, right? All of those frustrating everyday moments, the arguments, the tensions, we don't really remember those things as much as time goes on because we're not wired to remember all that negativity all the time, right? So just remember that this week. When this is all happening, right? If you're in a space where you're reminiscing, remember that there was a reason why you chose to walk away from this. There was a reason why. There was a moment where you said, I told you so, right? Remember that. You took authority and leadership in your own life to walk away from this, to end this. And this is the week where it's all going to come back and you're going to get that little silver moment of saying, I made the right decision. And for some of you, it might be a little bit overwhelming. So allow yourself to write it down. Allow yourself to journal it. And that way you can have a little bit of help from spirit and really just from your own intuition of getting everything written on paper. Okay? Great messages for you, Sagittarius. Please let me know if this resonated with you. And if you're still watching and you haven't liked this video, consider liking the video. Consider subscribing to the channel. Come join our Ahana. We love making new friends. Everyone is welcome here. And like I mentioned earlier, if you would like to get a personal reading with me, you can find me at themagicsiren.com. Be sure to use that promo code. Check us out over on Patreon and keep your eye out every Sunday. We have our podcast, The Siren Circle. So come, sit, join us in the circle. It's a lot of fun. But other than that, I'm going to let you get back to your day. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I'll see you again next week. Aloha.